faster. I'm gonna get you and I'm gonna make you scared. I'm Freddy Fazbear. Better close the doors or you're gonna get jump scared. I'm Freddy Fazbear. I'm gonna get you and I'm gonna make you cry. I'm Freddy Fazbear. I'm gonna get you and sing you a lullaby. Toy Freddy and you better be ready, cause when we come down, yeah, we're gonna have a party with the lights and a mask that you keep on. But Foxy's in the hall and leave it on long.
I need eating booty, I need it all. Toy Chica's just right down the hall. My Chica's broken, all withered and bust. Time for a new one. Test it, I must.
Can't give up now, sit down, you can never leave. Not when Afton's pulling out the strings. Ventilation is starting to unload. I'm creeping near, better cue the audio. You are working graveyard, trying to make your greens. I'm a murder robot, trying to make us sing. You cannot escape me, so don't even try.
Now I'm at your door. Say goodbye. The party's not over. We're coming home with you.
I'm Nightmare Freddy and I'm in your bed. I'm Nightmare Freddy and I'm in your bed. Better flash your lights, shut the doors all night. Flash the closet too, better flash it twice. You can survive. Flash your light or you will die. We're gonna bite you. I'm a A show was requested of me. I will act performatively. You can watch my show at 3. Count on me, fun time Foxy. We're just starting to have so much fun. Why do you wanna run away when the party's just begun? Won't you come down to the playground and play? Nice meeting all of the secrets you've been keeping. Why do you chase things that clearly intend to keep repeating?
If an animatronic acts inappropriately, the appropriate thing is to shock them consecutively. Then back to your seat to finish up your night shift.
We'd like to thank you for our gift.
What's up, everybody? Doctor, they can hear us.
Hello. Sorry, I was
Whoa.
doxing you
Sorry, I
in chat.
have to turn you down a little bit. You were peeking the microphone.
Hello, I'm loud. Hello.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of the Loafing About podcast. Today I have the ever-talented TheDoctorIsIn. He's the guest of honor.
It's me.
Yeah, Doc, why don't you introduce yourself to the audience real quick?
Greetings, off twins. It is I, the Doctor is in. Also known as the guy who does that Springtrap and Michael impression. There's a particular meme that everyone kind of like saw. It was me, Michael. That meme kind of popped off. But I do those videos. I do theorizing as well. I have a theory in the works as we speak. But I've been invited here, and actually, it's the second episode, and it's going to be Meatloafer's final episode because I'm going to kill him and take his podcast.
Not my podcast.
Okay.
Out of all the things you could take from me, my
I
most
don't care
prized
about your
possession.
theories.
Yeah.
You can keep the baby chip. I'll let you keep. I mean, you take that to the grave. But I want the podcast specifically.
I should have known. I should have known you were plotting something.
How's your day going, Meatloafers? I'm gonna take. I'm
It's going
starting
well.
the takeover by proposing the questions before you do.
I mean, it's not an interview. Just a conversation.
Too bad.
You can ask questions too.
Okay, so like, what do you think of the economy?
Boo. Boo.
What's your main and Marvel rivals? We're not
Invisible
talking about
Woman.
this.
Yeah, no, there will be
that
no
explains a
FNAF
lot.
on this podcast. Only Marvel rivals.
Open Marvel rivals right now.
Good. We're just gonna play some Marvel rivals on this episode, guys.
So, did you have any topics? Because you talked about topics before.
Yes.
Like, is there a topic on your list?
I
or-
have a very short list.
That's okay. I can rant.
Yeah, we can rant about anything. I've got the field, quantum mechanics.
Okay. Oh wait, I think we're back. I think we're back.
I always come back.
I always come back.
So yeah, you do it a lot better than I can.
Yeah, but that's because like I've trained my vocal cords to always sound like Springtrap on command.
Trained for years.
People always ask me that.
Mastered the
like I get a
Springtrap
lot of
arts.
thank you, UhYeah in chat. I try my best. I always get comments like that on my shorts and whatever, like, how do you do the Michael and Springtrap voice? I've gotten really funny ones too, where the way they structure the question is, what's your secret? Or like, what's the technique? And it's not something you can really easily explain, because I mean, it's a voice. It's about putting strain on your vocal cords and like frying your voice so that you get the strained like scratchiness.
The secret is chain smoking.
You know what? That's like that is a way. I honestly, because I know a lot of people in my family that smoke. So smoking, it's a fast track way to do a Springtrap impression.
And hey, you have people in your family who smoke, and they all sound exactly like Springtrap.
They do. As a matter of fact, they started physically morphing. I think it might be the field.
One of them gave birth to Springtrap the other day. His name was Matt.
Yeah, it's
It's
actually related
stuff.
to Matthew Patrick.
You actually are PJ Haywood.
Headwood. Always come back, SpongeBob. Here's a question. Speaking of these problems, are you doing it the first episode with more? So it's just me. Oh.
Okay,
Wait,
I'm
we're back on.
everyone.
Oh, dude, my lordy lord. Guys, I don't think we're allowed to talk about like actual FNAF. Or
No, it'll be
OBS
fine.
gets
It'll be
kind of
fine
deep.
this time. I fixed it, guys. Totally. Probably. Maybe. I changed a single setting. That should fix everything, right?
Oh, we're so cooked, dude. Anyway, as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted by OBS, I think, interestingly, lately, the field and all that may be part of it has come up a lot more in conversation, especially since Secret of the Mimic, of course.
It's all Gibby's fault.
It partly Gibby's fault, and so thanks to Gibby, Mr. Gibson. By the never mind. I won't dox myself here, but I live in the same state as Gibby, so I could always kidnap him and like make him pay.
He
for
lives
what he's done.
on the horror homestead.
I do. I live on. I crawl beneath the ground. But anyway,
They were roommates.
It's interesting trying to apply. He ate them. No.
Shut up.
But it's been interesting trying to like apply that concept of the field to the entirety of FNAF, because you can apply it to just the entire series and it sort of fits in a way. You're adjusting like, okay, we're gonna solve this by applying the field, kind of like how people like to take the mimic and like it was the mimic the entire time.
I would never do something like that.
Oh, Mr. Baby Chip, but
yeah.
the thing about the field and why it's a little bit strenuous is that it is literally a real world concept. For those who don't know, the field, it's called the 0 point field, by the way. We just shortened it down to the field.
That's what
The
the
zero
book's
point
called.
field is actually a real world concept in quantum physics. And the thing about quantum physics is that it's all very theoretical. So
It's
very fitting for FNAF.
specifically a pseudoscientific concept in quantum
It is
physics.
a pseudo-scientific, and it ties into like this. I'm not. Don't take my word on it because I'm not a certified quantum physicist. But from what I can understand, or off the top of my head anyway, it plays a lot into the idea of your consciousness influencing reality,
Mhm.
and everything being connected in the universe. Yada yada yada. Of course, the 0 point field is not a literal. It's an empty space. It is a vacuum of space. It's just like the empty area between.
It's
I
like
want to say physical
it's a
area.
force.
It is like I guess like you could just say the force.
Yeah, it is basically the force. Yeah.
Yes, it is. I know specifically too. It does tie into like the idea of psychic, stuff or whatever. Of course,
Mhm.
and my question to you before I get into like what I might be making a theory on soon or coming out soon, hopefully.
Right.
How do you interpret the field in terms of like how it applies to FNAF?
Okay. So, and lucky for you, Fetch is one of the few Fazbear Fright stories I actually have read. I view the field. It's sort of this like overarching like. It's like the scientific quote unquote explanation for how like paranormal activity works in FNAF, which is
Mhm.
like consciousness memories affecting reality, right? Like
Right,
you see
right.
that in like Remnant and Agony and everything.
Mm, okay. Wait, did the audio just cut out?
I don't think so.
Hello? Oh, weird. Your audio cut out for a minute.
That's crazy.
Okay, wait. What did you say? I heard remnant and then you died.
No, I said Remnant and Agony and stuff.
Oh, okay. And
And
I mean,
stuff.
how I have what? So let me move over to stone tape theory briefly. So again, for those who don't know, and this is very interesting to me. Stone tape theory is another real world concept. I say concept loosely though, because it is also I
I say
have the
real world
Wikipedia pulled up.
loosely. Yeah.
It is also a pseudo-scientific claim that ghosts and hauntings occur when traumatic events are imprinted on certain stones or other materials and are subsequently replayed, similar to a magnetic tape recording,
Mm-hmm.
like a film recording, whatever. I literally read that. I had the website pulled up because I was writing my script, but uh, it's interesting because that is literally unironically kind of remnant and agony,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's
Like
the
almost
that
exactly.
idea of literally almost exactly the concept of like, oh, traumatic events or tragic events that happened in these areas, particularly for FNAF Freddy Fazbear's. And then the memory or like whatever the negative energy, aka agony, of that event, like taints the physical environment.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and even in like what was it? I forget the book, but in Fazbear Frights, you have Professor Taggart or whatever, and he is collecting items specifically from like environments that had
Yeah.
tragic events happen around them. So I know off the top of my head, like he got like torture devices, he had weapons or like items that were near sites of murder, and then also party plates was
And he
one of
had
them. I think the implication
Fetch.
would be like, yeah, oh yeah, he got like Fitch's battery and whatnot.
Well, you got all the parts
Um,
to build the Stitch Wraith. My
exactly,
name is
exactly.
Taggart. I built the Stitch Wraith. It was difficult to put the pieces together.
I mean, Stitch Wraith feels like a proto. I'm gonna get flamed for that,
Everything
but
feels like a proto mimic.
with your baby chip, I bet it does. But I it's interesting because again, like that is just literally agony, or like agony is literally stone tape theory.
Yeah.
And how I tie that back. Oh, this is a small little side note. I mentioned it yesterday when we played Marvel. I was no Raven, I think. Um, Fun little fact, there is, or used to be anyway, an actual society called the Society for Psychical Research, or SPR for short. And they're sort
Mhm.
of like, instead of just calling it stone tape theory, there's also like another name for it called place memory, which,
Oh, we got
is
the fancy name
self-explanatory.
for it.
Yeah, place memory. And the two SPR involved investigators, when it came to like, oh, what is this? Because that's the thing about stone tape theory, is that it was supposed to be a reasonable and scientific explanation for what ghosts and hauntings are.
Oh, it seems
And
very reasonable to me.
yeah, it's very reasonable. And the whole concept behind it is that it's not ghosts or it's not the paranormal necessarily. It's that idea of like the memory of that tragic event is lasting and being replayed in
There
that
are no
environment.
ghosts in FNAF.
Yeah, they're all, yeah, it's all William Afton. He's projecting. It's all a projection.
It's all a
uh,
projection. Five Nights at
but
Freddy's is a projection.
it's Scott Cawthon's projection.
This is the new dream theory, projection theory.
I was talking with my cousin about that the other day. Is that you could technically make a maybe not a sequel to Dream Theory, but a spiritual successor to Dream Theory through like the 0 point field and stuff. It's very interesting. But the two SPR involved investigators, when it came down to saying no ghosts exist, Edmund Gurney, which Five Below Edwin Murray, like, yeah, it's Edmund, EDMUND, and then GURNEY, which again could be coincidence,
I
but
mean,
it's very funny.
I wouldn't even be that surprised if Scott actually did that, because I mean, like Dr. Taggart and Talbert are named after like real people. Like Dr. Taggart is named after Lynn McTaggart, like the real woman who like invented the field, or she wrote a book
Wait,
about it.
that's so fire. I didn't know that. There's also the second SPR investigator was Eleanor Sidwick, which Eleanor, you know, mm, I wouldn't be surprised.
I
It's
I
always that
definitely think Scott like genuinely did research on stone tape theory, because
considering how close it is to Agony, like it has
yeah,
to be,
and a
like,
lot of the stuff in the Fazbear Frights, like the Stitchline stuff with Dr. Taggart, are all like a lot of it is based on like real life, like pseudoscience experiments and stuff. Like he does this, like Dr. Taggart does this experiment in the Stitch Wraith Stingers, where he projects his emotions onto like snowflakes, and he creates like an agony snowflake.
What the heck?
Well, he's like growing agony crystals and then projecting his like thoughts onto them, to like different emotions onto them, and he creates like this crazy agony snowflake. And that is
That's also
based
just revealed.
that is based directly on a real experiment that a man called Dr. Emoto did on ice crystals.
That's really interesting, actually. See, total side note, but I just thought about it, and I always wanted to look more into it, but I actually lost the video because I know there was a video that exists. There is a little known theory that I'm surprised. I don't even know if it's necessarily like a big theory or could be classified as a theory necessarily. But there is a theory that certain aspects of FNAF, particularly regarding the remnant experimentation and whatnot, so on and so forth, that it might be based off of certain military, like government top secret projects that have gone on in real life.
Oh, the
Stuff like that.
classic William Afton was a Nazi scientist theory.
I don't
Remember
know
that?
if I vaguely remember that. I don't think it was like, oh, William Afton was a Nazi scientist. I think it was more like there's certain stuff in FNAF that was based off of like
I'm
real
I'm
world
kidding.
experiments.
That was a theory back in the day, which is like aged surprisingly well, because a lot of the things it says about like William Afton being like this mad scientist type character has like sort of been confirmed at this point.
Oh yeah, I mean, to be fair, when did that theory like get popular? Because he's been a mad scientist for a long time.
I
since
think
at
it
least
was
the
like even before, it was like really early on, I think.
Okay. It could have been just like a crackpot thing that just
Yeah.
happened to be like true.
I think it
Because
was like a crackpot thing. Obviously, William Afton isn't a Nazi scientist that we know of. I can't wait for that reveal of the third movie. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know that one when they were doing like the script, they released the script. I think it was the 10th anniversary or whatever. They released like script pages.
Yeah,
and you had
yeah.
to guess which one was the
One of
real
them
one
was
or
like
whatever.
the military.
Yeah. Can't believe the military is in bed with like Fazbear Entertainment or whatever.
The funny thing is that could literally just that would just be the plot of like a short story in one of the books.
I honestly, to be fair, it's always the question of like, where are they gonna take FNAF next? Like, what are we gonna do after the Pizzaplex and whatever?
After the
Like,
mimic, I think they should just fully jump the shark. We should bring in the military. We should have like animatronic kaiju battles.
Yeah. Like militarized Freddy Fazbear. Come on, like make it happen.
Okay, well,
Get
I say
Freddy,
that,
like,
but there's literally a giant trash Afton kaiju.
we have
in Fazbear Frights.
Yeah, like we've already jumped the shark a few. To be fair, Sister Location was a jump the shark, and it's just been increasingly jumping the
We're
shark.
just jumping,
repeatedly.
Felix the shark. We jumped the shark there.
Yeah.
There are still people who believe in 2026 that a giant garbage Springtrap kaiju fought Dr. Talbert or whatever. Scott Cawthon is lying to you.
You know what? Scott Cawthon is lying to you. FNAF was an inside job. It's like it's actually military propaganda. The next game, it's gonna push like, oh, you should join the military. It's gonna be like William Afton promoting it or something. It's all been an inside job.
If Freddy legitimately goes to space in the next game, I will throw my hands up and say cinema.
I don't know about the next game, but give it maybe like 3 or 4 more. I feel like we will get a serious lore heavy Freddy in space game. Where I don't know, we're playing Michael Afton, and I have to stop my father from enacting agony worldwide.
Well, it is interesting.
Like
the first Freddy in Space game he released is weirdly similar to the plot of Secret of the Mimic.
The one from FNAF World?
No, the Freddy in Space 2, the first like full game he released.
I don't think I know it exists. I saw like
if I'm remembering correctly, yeah, he created it for that charity stream.
Yeah.
But if I'm remembering correctly, right, like the plot of the game is that Freddy has a son, right?
Oh no.
And like the main villain of the game is this AI computer program named Lolhacks. Who, I might be remembering this completely incorrectly, I'm pretty sure was created to babysit Freddy's son, and then went haywire.
Freddy in Space 2 Lolhacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I've looked it up.
Fact check
Also
me.
known as... Okay, yeah, let's see. Wait, ad blocker. Was created to watch over Freddy's son during a space mission in which Freddy was absent, but at some point it went rogue and turned against Freddy, brainwashing Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, and the puppet. It trapped Freddy's son in space, leaving him to die from a lack of oxygen. Knowing that Freddy would try to rescue his friends and son, Lolhacks created legions of monsters to stop him. It, however, failed because Freddy defeated the monsters and rescued Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, and the puppet.
Okay, at least the first part is the mimic. I don't know about the rest of that.
To be fair, created legions of monsters. FNAF AR.
Sister location? No.
FNAF AR. Lolhacks is also in Phasor Blast. Interesting.
Lolhacks is also in Phasor Blast.
Actually, David wasn't hit by a car. David was hit by lolhacks.
David was hit by Lolhax is the
David
mimic.
is in space. David is the mimic. Put David in space. That's where we're going next game. I take everything I said back.
Yeah, we're going to space, boys. It's all coming together.
But going back to the whole stone tape theory thing in Agony, like we said, very mightily similar. And I always like to point out that because I feel like it's something that gets slept on a lot. There is a surprising amount of pop culture in FNAF,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean by that. Would
Oh,
it be
yeah.
like references or inspirations
The
or whatever?
Whopper.
What? Oh yeah, the machine. Yeah, I think I heard Whopper. I was thinking of like the Burger King.
That's what I
like,
was doing. I was doing the Burger King jingle.
I was like, when did FNAF partner with Burger King? I'm like, wait a minute.
Well,
I mean,
then,
they
like,
could have. They did Popeyes.
I'm pretty sure at this point that the plot of Secret the Mimic was at least partially inspired by the Stepford Wives.
What's that? I never heard of that.
Um,
Speak to me.
It was originally a book, right? And it's about. God, I have to do a plot synopsis.
Mm-hmm.
It is about. So this family.
Oh, I have to talk on my podcast.
Okay. So this family moves into this new town called Stepford, right? And so the story follows like the wife, the mother of the family, and she starts noticing like this town is really weird. It has this like men's association, and all the men in the town have these like weird secret meetings. And she notices like all of the women in the town, she starts to notice they're just like really overly subservient to their husbands. They're just like these perfect housewives.
Reminds me of Get Out.
And then she has this friend who is very like rebellious. And she does not act anything like the other woman in Stepford, but then one day she gets changed. And she becomes this like perfect wife bot. And so then the main character starts to think like, oh god, like they're replacing the woman. They're doing something to them.
Right.
Right. I mean, this isn't the whole plot. There's a lot of other stuff going on. But then we learn that they are replacing the wives in Stepford with robots.
Whoa.
And like one of the guys, like one of the men that lives there was like he was like a former he like made animatronics for Disney World.
Wow.
So it's like, yeah. I 100% think that Secret the Mimic took inspiration from that story.
No, I'm not. When you say Disney animatronics, like a guy who made Disney, and that makes a lot of sense. I'm not surprised. It feels like, especially, interestingly, because you mentioned like the Whopper, and that's from an old movie. But then you have that one, like the other ending in Security Breach Ruin, where you go up to like the Fredbear cutout, you put on the mask, and it's like that weird, it's a hallucination or illusion or whatever. And then it's in the game files, it's called the Brazil ending.
Yeah.
And it's a reference to another old movie where there's a guy that's like trapped in a fake reality or whatever. I don't know the actual plot of the movie.
Oh, I haven't heard about this.
Oh, you haven't heard about this?
No.
Oh, yeah, no, it's that ending in Ruin is a reference to another old movie called, is it called Brazil? I don't remember the name of. No, it's not. That's not the name of the movie. That's not the name of the movie, but it's like a reference in the movie or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And the plot of the movie, if I recall correctly, is about what is it? I don't know the exact plot. Connie just explained it to me too, but I forget. But it's like the main character of the film is trapped in like a fake reality or whatever, and still it's like an Inception Matrix type of thing. The movie is called Brazil, I think.
Yeah,
is it
Brazil,
called Brazil?
1985.
Okay.
It's what I'm seeing in chat. They could be lying to me though.
The government like takes a guy and gets trapped in his, and he gets trapped in the
Interesting. I mean,
okay.
is that not the plot of Ruin?
I mean, I mean, they're literally like maybe more or less happens in Ruin, or like, oh, does not. Yeah,
A
I
lot
mean
of people
that's a
getting
thing.
trapped in virtual reality.
To get information out of him while he's unconscious. Okay,
Mm.
that's interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
lots of references to like 80s movies, which,
yeah,
that's when Scott Cawthon
even
was a boy.
oh yeah. I mean, he's as much as people like to hop on it, and I know Maury's been like, In the Flesh is actually not that bad, or at least it gets a lot of the other aspects of it get overlooked a lot. Um, in the Flesh, what was it? No,
Oh yeah,
sorry.
in the flesh
Oh no,
genuinely has like lore implications.
oh yeah, people just like to boil it down to the whole map pet and prig thing. But what I just remembered is that the whole like busting out of the stomach thing, it's just a reference to like the original Alien movie with the xenomorph. Because I think
Yeah,
Scott went on the record to say like his favorite movie or whatever was Alien,
yeah.
the original
And for
Alien
the
movie.
record, the Stepford Wives, the first movie came out in 1975.
Interested. Definitely of like that era. And
Yeah.
I brought it up before that I actually might make a video on this. But the connections between FNAFs, particularly in regards to how the paranormal and supernatural work, and then also stuff in like Stephen King's works, particularly
Mm-hmm.
like I was doing that stream with Narraven the other day, and it was with Fredden, and he was like he talked about like, oh, he wanted to do the same thing but never got around to it. Um, it's like the Overlook Plex,
Yeah.
because the Overlook Hotel and the Pizza Plex have a few similarities. And I very much agree with that. And it just goes to show, even in Secret of the Mimic, you can apply the same thing. I mean, look at that. I think when you go in like the welcome area lobby or whatever, when you enter the
Oh
building, the
yeah.
carpet
Yeah, the
is
carpet
very
in MCM
similar.
is 100% a reference to The Shining.
Yeah, like
It was
literally,
like,
it's
well,
very
wasn't it? It
similar.
was literally like the first thing they showed in like the first teaser was the carpeting.
hmm Didn't Pennywise also reference that with the new show? What reference what? Here's the thing about Stephen King's works is that they're all like connected in like the same universe or whatever. At
Well,
least
I
a
mean,
lot
not
of them take
all
place
of
in
them.
the
Yeah,
same
a lot
universe.
of them are.
Like It and The Shining take place in the same universe. You literally had a in the show that came out recently for It, and then also in the original book, character from The Shining appears called Doc
Mm.
Halloran, and he's like an actual psychic. He has that ability called the Shine or whatever, that gives him like
Yeah.
psychic
Hey,
abilities.
and we
Uh,
can talk shit on Scott Cawthon all we want. um, Stephen King has admittedly, self-admittedly, he made all of that. He made his stories up on the spot too. So
Oh, it's like a kind of infamous story that when the dude wrote It, he was like actually high out of his
yeah,
mind on like crack or whatever. And that's why that story's kind of wild. Like he does not remember writing It because he was like bonked out, dude. um, but I think tying Stone Tape Theory and the field together, which I think you can do. Um, Now, it's a little bit difficult to explain, so bear with me. Again, we're dealing with actual quantum physics here, which, by the way, can we talk about how wild it is that we have to learn quantum physics to talk about FNAF? Like, I've started to explain this to my cousin because my cousin like, has like a mild interest in like the engagement of FNAF lore or whatever. And I was trying to explain to him actual quantum mechanics, and he's just like, dude, what are you on? What are you talking? There's no way that they're making you do quantum mechanics for the Pizza Bear game.
they totally are.
But so the 0 point field has a lot to do with thoughts and memories and yada yada yada. Um, and so, if you are able to interact with the 0 point field through your subconscious, not subconscious, but your consciousness, which again we see in FNAF, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but the fetch animatronic and then what's his face, Greg, I believe his name is,
Greg.
like they have some sort of connection in the book. I
Yeah.
believe like it's something along those lines.
Yeah. Well,
And
the
then
main
also,
character basically like summons Fetch almost in a
yeah.
way.
But you were even mentioning it earlier that Taggart was like projecting his thoughts or emotions onto
Yeah.
snow
It
crystals. So
was
that's
yeah.
literally like a fieldism or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now take that concept and apply it with like stone tape theory. That idea of like, oh, the memory, the agony filled memory or whatever
Yeah.
of tragic events like being replayed and lingering in certain locations that those like events took place.
Yeah. Like it all
It's
connects.
it does, like it all connects and it makes sense, as confusing as it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it does explain. There was a document I found. I make a joke about it in my video because
It's called the
really
Talbert
ironic.
Files.
No, well, it's a
It's a great document.
give me a minute here because it's really funny. I did find a document that read in detail about the field, and it was very helpful. It was made by a guy named Monologue on Reddit, and then special thanks to. Do you want to guess who?
Who? Is it fucking M Tom?
Yeah, it was Tom. I'm like, oh,
No,
you gotta
dude,
be
you're gonna
kidding
be citing N Tom in your upcoming video. Is what I'm hearing.
me. Special thanks to Tom. I think it was not like the main
my favorite creator, N Tom. I love him so much. Scott Cawthon is lying to you. Dude, I gotta get N Tom on this podcast.
I think Edward Snowden.
Edward Snowden. I feel like I recognize the name.
You probably have heard of him before. He had to like run out. He had to escape the country because of something wild. I don't remember the exacts, but I wouldn't be surprised if and Tom had to do the same thing because oh god, Scott Cawthon's hunting me down now. I gotta escape
Scott Cawthon got the Pinkertons on his ass. I've said this before, not on stream, but I would do an interview with N Tom. I actually want to so bad because I just want to know. I want to know what was going on inside of his head, man.
It's so funny that whole thing like kind of ever blew up as much as it did. I guess it just it's like looking back on it a lot of the time it's like, oh well, why did we ever think this was real or whatever, or like why did we fall for this? It's like such a clear hoax. And it's funny because I don't think we'll ever have a hoax like that ever again. I think the closest we came to was like Chica's secret party or whatever. And even then it's like
One of these days I need to
serious.
actually sit down and read the Talbert Files.
I don't know if I still have it. I downloaded it like forever ago. I mean, it's interesting, but it's one of those things where it's like, oh, this is almost too perfect. It's like, yeah, it was like.
What if Scott Cawthon sat down and wrote a book that gave us the answers to everything? Wouldn't that be great, guys?
That's like the real red flag. It's like, why would Scott Cawthon ever do that? Come on,
exactly.
Man. He needs to make an entire.
I think that's why. That's why people wanted to believe in it because they were desperate for answers at the time, right? This was like, When was this? Like right after the release of like Security Breach, somewhere
Talbot
around
Files?
there. I honestly have no idea.
I mean, Talbot Files was a big thing.
Well, before before Secret of the Mimic, so people were very confused.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's like that was like early 2025.
Yeah, I was not really like, I was off FNAF at that time, so I never really learned all that much about it.
You took a break from FNAF?
Oh yeah, I mean I've been on and off for 11 years.
No, you're not allowed.
There was a good couple of years there I was embarrassed about it and I pretended I didn't like it. I convinced myself.
I think that's a lot of people like nowadays actually, is especially after the second movie where they're kind of like, oh my god, I'm embarrassed to be a FNAF fan. And to be fair, I don't blame people for that.
Nah, the more camp the better. That's what I say. Actually, I wish the movie was worse. No.
Okay, so wait, I guess that's another question. What was your thoughts on the movie?
I don't know if I just have bad taste. If I like, maybe I can't tell what a good and bad movie is, right? But I honestly thought, even just not even from like the perspective of like, oh, it's this is the fans will love this. Like, I thought it was genuinely like a good movie.
Really.
Yeah, I'm a freak. I
So,
know.
no, I mean, for me, I saw it like opening day. I actually saw it on,
Oh
I
yeah.
think your OBS crashed again. No, wait, did it?
No, no, it's good.
Okay. Okay. The stream started buffering and I'm like, oh, not again. But um I saw it on December 4th, so like technically
Mm-hmm.
a day before opening. Um and there was a very packed theater. It's one of those, definitely one of those movies. Here's the thing with like video game movies, especially when they have like a big fan base. I think
Yeah,
the theater experience is always going to be enjoyable because you have all those fans there that are kind of just happy to be there with
there
other
were,
fans.
it was enjoyable. Some of the cheering was. Sometimes there were some annoying people in my theater.
Oh, I've heard some stories. So like I watched Moist Critical's review of it when after the movie came out, and he was like, "There was a group of people in front of me constantly pointing out every cameo character, all the lore implications and connections." He got the whole like lore dump or whatever,
So
but it was really
I need to
yeah.
tell my FNAF movie story because a lot went on that day. So I went over to my friend's apartment, and he had a couple of other friends over that I didn't really know. And then, we sat down, we watched the first movie, right? And then we went to go see the movie. We went to the movie theater, right? This guy. So this was on like the official opening day. But little did he know, the theater we were going to was doing screenings a day early, and he booked tickets for the day before. And so we stood there for like 20 minutes, and also apparently, yeah, the movie theater like didn't send him like the confirmation email for his tickets either. So we had to stand there for like 20 minutes at the front desk just to confirm that he bought any tickets.
Right.
And eventually we got new tickets for like a later screening. Well, the only seats that were available that night were like in like the third row, like all the way off to the right. So not very good seats. And there was a moment there where he was like, I don't know, guys, we might just have to come back another day. And I went, no, don't you dare. we are
Literally sit on
seeing
the
this
floor.
movie. I don't care where I'm sitting.
Yeah.
And so we went into the movie theater, started watching the movie at like 10 o'clock. And oh my god, there was this guy sitting right in the row right in front of me and like there were moments in the movie that were very hype and like people were cheering, and I was fine with that. Like at the end when like all the classics came in like Avengers style, people were cheering like crazy.
My favorite. Oh,
But there was this
guy.
guy sitting in front of us who would just talk like literally during like dialogue scenes where they're just like talking about stuff. And I'm trying to listen to what they're saying, and this guy's just saying like random things. He said 6'7" at one point. I hate to say it, I could not stop myself from giggling. I tried so hard. And he kept making like fart noises randomly. just
Added to the
in the middle of the movie. But I mean, I could have had a worse experience. I got to see the movie. That's all that matters.
The second time I saw the movie, oh, sorry, it's almost my nap time.
Okay. He woke up like 3 hours ago, by the way, chat.
Look, that's 3 hours too long. All this, all this waking up is kind of making me tired. I think I'll take a nap. But all this FNAF theorizing is making me tired.
My brain hurts.
But there was the second time I saw the movie. The first time I saw it with my cousin, then the second time I went with a few friends. There were two different sets of people that were bringing in like McDonald's to eat one. They were watching the movie. Thankfully, the theaters I went to, were actually pretty docile for all intents and purposes. There was like some muttering and mumbling about like what was going on in the movie. Like, ooh, look at that. but otherwise it was pretty decent. I think the only so I have to ask because I did enjoy the movie,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like it's one of those movies where if you turn your brain off, it's a lot better. But then when you look at like the actual narrative structure and like what happens in the movie, it falls apart very quickly.
Nah,
And
lies.
unfortunately, oh, lies is
Oh,
perfectly
it
cohesive
has
narrative.
a weak third act. What are you talking about? What does that even mean? S- So does like episode 5 of Star Wars. I don't know.
Oh, come on. But like, so I did enjoy the movie too. My question for you is that although you enjoyed the movie, would you point out the flaws and say like, "Oh yeah, that's rough,
I mean,
kiddo," or like,
it
"Oh, that's a
has
fault"?
flaws. There are flaws. I can point to them.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's
But so,
like it didn't kill my grandma, you know?
but what if it did?
That I probably wouldn't like it.
Okay, I see how it is. Um,
I don't like when things kill my grandma, usually.
it happens routinely.
Just sort of a weird thing about me, yeah. She keeps coming back
Yeah.
and then getting killed by something new. It's she's basically William Afton. It's crazy.
The baby chip killed my grandma.
I always come back, Sonny.
Speaking so when it comes to lore from the movies, like how seriously do you take them for that?
Not seriously, really at all.
Really? So like
Well, I mean, I
when
think
they say
there are
when they
some
say
things that I'm
Charlie
like,
died in 1982.
I don't think she died in 1982. I think she died
I see.
first. I think when Henry said Charlie was the first she's seen everything, he was not capping. I
Okay.
think the biggest thing I think that you can take away from the movies is honestly the characterization of the
That's what I was
characters.
about to say.
Because
my
people
perfect
I know
segue.
people were mad about Michael in the movie. I honestly think that's what Michael's like in the games. I don't think that
it's a
was
bit more nuanced.
entirely off base. I mean, well, not like not 1-to-1, but I don't think it was like this wild mischaracterization. You know, like people act like it is.
No, no. I can full-heartedly see like Michael Afton in the games being a bit of like a unstable freak or whatever, considering who his dad is. But
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing is that and this is always like when I'm trying to explain this to people, keep in mind Michael Afton and Mike Schmidt, no matter how much people might try to argue it, because I know that was a thing after the second movie came out. Oh, there's two different mics in the games now. That's not
Yeah,
no. Come on, have some media
it's Mike
literacy. It's the
Tosis.
same
They
guy.
split.
Yeah, it's like the Horcruxes from Harry Potter or something. But my Mike Cruxes. But no, it's like Michael Afton and Mike Schmidt in the games are the same character, yada yada yada. And so Michael Afton, in the movies is a segment of that character. What was that?
Don't worry about it.
Did you just
I muted myself for the stream. I was just clearing my throat.
I thought you like broke down. I thought you died. I just
No, I'm
realized we're
fine.
both clankers.
Okay, continue. That's true. We're both clankers.
But and then Mike Schmidt in the movies is another section of that character. And to like maybe a lesser extent, you could also say like, oh, Vanessa has Mike isms also as well. But that's also because Vanessa in the games has Mike isms.
Yeah.
So if you take the character of Michael Afton from the movie, then also Mike Schmidt from the movie, you place them together, you have Michael Afton from the games.
Yeah.
And that is that complete character. And so is Michael Afton in the movies a mischaracterization? No. I think what it comes down to is that a lot of people have sort of a misunderstanding when it comes to a lot of characters in the franchise, particularly Michael Afton and William Afton, of course. A
Well, yeah.
lot of people like to characterize him. So go ahead.
Well, I remember watching the movie, the like dream sequence with Vanessa, with William, and I was just sitting there having all of my headcanons about William Afton be confirmed. I felt so vindicated.
Don't you know I care about you?
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
you know you're my favorite?
Like it feels so on the nose. It almost feels like Scott was intentionally addressing Will Care.
Don't you know I will care about you?
Will Care confirmed by the FNAF 2 movie. And I think the character Michael Afton in the movie is a lot more nuanced than people treat him to. He's not like pure evil.
No, it's just like misguided or whatever. Or, being mentally abused by a dad that not a nice guy. And so it is like I saw the comparison between him and Elizabeth Afton. It
Mhm.
is similar, and the reason it's similar is because they're all Afton
They're siblings,
children.
yeah.
Yeah, and so Michael Afton never had Garrett.
Mhm.
I think it is fair to say that Garrett is very similar to the Crying
Oh, for
Child,
sure.
even if it's not the same character or whatever.
Mhm.
From a narrative sense, for at least Michael, Michael as in Mike Schmidt. It serves the same purpose. Like Mike Schmidt has that guilt and that remorse over his brother's death. Well, he didn't cause it, in that continuity, but he still, that concept is there. Whereas Michael Afton did not have that sort of.
Mhm.
The bite of '83 didn't happen. The bite of '83 just didn't happen.
Mhm.
And so he never had wait, maybe killing is wrong. Maybe this is a bad idea.
Well, no, and
Actually,
I will say, right, in the movie, right, there are these moments. So the first like, so he's luring the people around in the pizzeria, right? And the first person who
Right.
dies like he is in the other room. He just hears it happen and he's laughing about it. But then
Yeah.
I think there are these two moments. The two times he actually watches somebody die in that scene, he looks like horrified. And I genuinely think the way I interpret that scene is like this is the first time he's actually like seen someone die before, like right before him.
Mm.
So I
disagree.
genuinely think they are setting Michael up in the movies for some kind of, I don't know if redemption arc is the right word, but like for some sort of like he'll like end up turning against his father and make a heroic sacrifice in the end or something. That sort of thing. I don't.
No, I mean, I believe that it's going to be something like that.
Yeah. And honestly, I think they're going to combine FNAF 3 and FNAF 6 into one.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, if we're
Yeah.
trying to streamline the story of FNAF, just turn the two fires into one fire. Boom.
Yeah. The issue, I totally think it's gonna be like a FNAF 3-6 thing, but I feel like they're gonna somehow shoehorn the fourth closet into it. I didn't take Garrett, I took you. And then he's gonna be like, oh, Mike bots, like Mike Schmidt is
Yeah.
actually secretly an Afton.
It
He is
is
a
it
robot or
is the
something.
whole like circumstances around Garrett are very strange.
Yeah,
Like
I oh
William drove like 2 states over to kidnap this random child from a campsite.
yeah.
That's not
The
exactly
sad
his
part about
MO.
it. The sad part about it is that I don't think we'll ever get an answer. I think it is actual mystery slop. I don't think we'll get an answer as to why he took a
Nah,
Garrett.
Scott Cawthon's the greatest writer on earth.
If they're really going to, because I know I joked about like, oh, the fourth closet, but with how the other movies share a lot of like at least like a few similarities between the Silver Eyes, the Twisted
Mm-hmm.
Ones. They seem to be very
Oh yeah.
loosely based off of a lot of concepts from those. Even the plot point of like
Even the
Mike
games are
Schmidt and
based
Garrett.
loosely on the novel.
Oh, okay, well now you gotta die. But
Okay, Secret of the Mimic is the fourth closet, bro.
no,
At least
I
the
mean,
origins of the Mimic, like the specific events that led to the Mimic becoming the way it is, are very similar to fourth closet
yeah.
and the Charlie Bot.
No. To be fair, there are similarities, and I've talked about that before. Like, oh, John FNAF made an actually really good theory about how like, oh wait, certain particularly like FNAF world, and then
Mm-hmm.
like the what was it called, the novel trilogy.
John
It feels like there's
FNAF
kind of
is the
concepts from
greatest
those.
theorist on earth.
He makes MatPat. What was the? I forget
He
the
makes
lyric now.
MatPat look like a worm.
There we go. Um, but like the concept of Mike losing his brother at a young age, and like, oh, it's some guy or whatever that like kidnapped him or something. It's very similar to Charlie and Sammy in the Silver Eyes in a way, and like going back to like, oh, I feel like I'm closer to Garrett when I'm near Freddy's, or like when I'm at Freddy's. And then in the Twisted One, she's like, I feel Sammy somewhere. I have to find him. It's all very similar, like kind of character beats or whatever.
I
So they're all similar.
I get the
Yeah.
feeling they're gonna reveal that Garrett is inside of Golden Freddy, honestly. I feel like they really are. I feel like they are teasing at there being two spirits inside of Golden Freddy. Because why does only one of his eyes glow? What other reason would they do that?
Because he's sad.
It's Scott Koth is just trying to troll us.
What I noticed, if I recall correctly, I don't know if this was, maybe it was coincidence, maybe it was purposeful. I believe it is. I guess I can look it up. I have it. I have Google right in front of me. But Golden Freddy's eye in the first movie, Golden Freddy FNAF movie 1. If you look that
He's
up,
got the Sans eye.
yeah, he has the Sans eye. It's in his right eye specifically, and then Springtrap in the
Yeah.
in the like the post credit scene, his left eye is the one that's glowing. I believe.
Yeah. That
Mhm.
is the spirit, the Golden Freddy spirit is split between the two suits. I mean,
Here's the thing: if they really want to go down the route of like explaining anything about Garrett, I feel like having him be the other soul inside Golden Freddy is the only like realistic. Because anything else would probably be too complex for the movie. If they
imagine
tried to
they
go shadow
reveal that
victim,
there's actually a spirit inside of inside of the Spring bodysuit.
and it's gonna be Andrew.
That actually, now that I think about it, that is interesting. Has the community ever considered that the Spring bodysuit was possessed before William Afton got spring locked?
As in, like, he stuffed the kid inside
Yeah.
before. I mean, that was I think that's probably been discussed before. I don't know, like, at what length, but I think it was probably something that came up, like, during Andrew discussions, where, like, oh, he
Andrew
stuffed
is
Andrew.
Springtrap.
Well, that or, like, he is, that's how, like, oh, the whole Vengeful Spirit thing, that's how he's able to trap Afton in UCN after FNAF 6, because they are sharing the same suit.
Because
And I know in the...
imagine they revealed Garrett is possessing the Spring bodysuit. I'd lose my mind.
I mean, I guess that's the BV Toy Shank believers are gonna love that if it happens. But like I said, my worry is that oh, nap time. My worry for that film is that they're going to combine two games and then layer the fourth closet on top of it. Now, I hope to God they don't do something like Vanessa Bots or whatever.
No, they're
'cause
gonna
that would be
combine
really
3 games. They're gonna put Sister Location in there too.
That's even like I briefly forgot about that, but you're so right. If they really decide to make use of like Circus Baby, that's a whole other thing. But like, I hope to God that they actually don't incorporate Circus Baby. Because oh God. Okay, I'm alive now. But like, how much the movie's gonna be juggling. At the very least, I also I swear if they killed Henry in that post credit scene, I will actually like, please God don't have him be dead already. Come on, make use of the actual character.
He's
But
gotta
let's
give
say
the connection terminated speech.
literally, please. Like, you have Mike Schmidt, you have Abby, you have Springtrap, you have Vanessa possessed by the puppet, which Charlie, and we'll say Henry's there somewhere.
She has the
most
puppet
likely.
inside of her, dog.
You have Michael Afton. You have all of these moving parts as is. It's like It's gonna be a really. I hope they increase the runtime because this movie had a really short runtime.
That circus baby animatronic was really, really well made for something that only appears for a couple of seconds.
That thing is over 7 feet tall. Just like
It
she
is
in the games.
it is like the most accurate one they've made. It is like
Yeah, it's insane. And
It's
have you
it's
seen what they
insane.
did for Springtrap? Have you seen the
That
the goofy
see
Springtrap?
that's the thing. We know that's temporary.
I hope they got yeah.
They've talked about this. That they just created that for the post credit scene. It's not going to be the final suit for FNAF 3.
That's okay. That's fine. I believe that. But like for the 5-second cameo, they pulled out all the stops for Circus Baby.
Yeah.
Literally the most accurate design they have produced.
Well, also, the
And-
Springtrap animatronic was under a plastic sheet. You couldn't really even see him very well.
No, he actually looked better in like the movie than when you look at like the behind the scenes or whatever. So like I'm not surprised that they kind of just like threw it together or something. But also again for the 5-second cameo that hopefully won't even like appear again in like the final film. Circus Baby and whatnot.
Nah.
Insane.
Well, they're gonna keep her around for when they create the sister location movie.
That's what I think. No, that's unironically like I wouldn't be surprised if they go past 3 movies.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how they do it for FNAF 4.
I
not to say
doubt
there
that
isn't
would be
way.
a whole movie.
Really?
I mean, how could you? I mean, I guess if you actually showed the crying child's death.
I mean, that's a question.
If it was
like,
just about like the Bite of 83, because that's like the plot of FNAF 4. The night gameplay doesn't have a plot. You're just having spooky nightmares.
To be fair, the FNAF 2 movie doesn't share a lot of similarities with its plot to like the game. I mean, the game takes place in 1987, and very different. Okay, and I mean that was like an open pizzeria too. So
Yeah.
if they change the plot but like keep the idea behind like the nightmares or like nightmare animatronics, I feel like you could do something.
I mean,
I don't know what
if
you do exactly.
If we're doing the sister location movie right, we'll have Michael Afton as the protagonist. We can just have him having the nightmares during sister location.
I mean, why not? I mean, Fear Gas probably in there. But no, I honestly do think like Circus Baby is just like
They'd also
an
kind of
open
need
plot thread.
the crying child to exist to do a FNAF 4 movie.
Hey, Elizabeth probably okay, that's the thing is that if they felt inclined to like directly adapt Michael Afton, it's not out of the realm of possibility that they'd like, okay, let's do Elizabeth as well.
Yeah.
And like maybe even the crying child.
Because that's the thing, right? Like when the first movie came out, I think people sort of assumed that like Vanessa in the movies is an analog to Michael in the games, and Mike Schmidt's just his own thing. But then, the second movie comes out and Michael Afton is there. So it's like, maybe the Afton family in the movie universe is just going to be one-to-one with the games.
Unfortunately, I do think that's it.
And maybe Vanessa is an Afton, after all.
Oh, yeah, she is. Oh, yeah. I mean, I got convinced of that after, like, Nary Raven's video.
Yeah. I think the thing that fully convinced me of that was Freddy Carter being revealed to be playing Michael Afton in the movie.
Looking back on it, I'm kind of like, yeah, hindsight's 2020, yeah. Like,
yeah.
When Vanessa is an Afton in the movie, why would she not be one like in the games? Because it feels like I know it's like, oh, don't take the movies at face value or whatever, but also.
Yeah. That would be why would they do that? Why wouldn't it just be Elizabeth, an adult Elizabeth or something? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean literally, right? Like you could have just had it be Elizabeth.
It could have just been Michael.
Could have, yeah, like Mike Schmidt and Michael Afton get it on, I guess. Like the weird situationship. But I mean, like making Vanessa and Afton in the films feels like it's in a way its own like soft confirmation.
How we didn't like listen to the therapy tapes where Vanessa says she had an abusive father named Bill A, and immediately go, guys, I think she might be William Afton's daughter.
The other thing what do you think Michael Afton is just Jeremy in the games?
I don't know, man.
I do.
Did Michael get bit? Did he get bitted in the head?
To be fair, the game never specifically says that Jeremy was
That's
the bite victim.
true.
As weird as it is, it could have been another employee or whatever. It could have been. But the reason I bring it up is because they feel inclined to. I mean, I guess you could chuck it up to, like, one of the flaws of the movie, but they're like, okay, Mike has to play FNAF 2. Not the chick that would be more familiar with how these systems work, because it's Vanessa. Her dad owned the place. We gotta have Mike play FNAF 2.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why.
I mean, I think Mike was at the FNAF 2 location. I don't know if he was Jeremy.
In
the other one, I don't know.
Ticket to Fun, he has Jeremy Fitzgerald's chick.
I don't know enough about the ins and outs of FNAF 2. Honestly.
Why? It's funny. So, like, you brought that up before, like, oh, the mini games are like a blank spot for you. It feels like FNAF 2 in general, like all of the other games. Oh yeah, you're pretty familiar with it. FNAF 2, like, cast out of your membrane.
There's too much stuff going on. Well, and I think part of that is a long time ago, I just sort of said, yeah, Michael's the protagonist of all the games.
Oh yeah.
That's just the bet. I just want that to be true, so it is. Actually.
Nah, I do. To be fair,
I mean, it's not like it's unsubstantiated, but like, it'd just be so much. It'd just be so much cooler if that is the case. So
yeah.
I'm just not even gonna look into the other possibilities. No, I kid, but I've never been convinced otherwise, I guess.
It just makes my thought process there is also like, Michael is the answer to the question, why do you keep coming back every night?
Mm-hmm.
Because who would stay there for more than a night or 2 nights at most? Like, no one with like a sane mind is gonna do that. The only reason you would is if you have like a personal stake in the matter.
Mm-hmm.
Also, as a smaller point, you could also chalk it up to just gameplay, to be fair. But
the
in
odor.
most of the games, no, most of the games after FNAF 6, barring like, for example, I think Into the Pit is 5 nights, but also not canon. But most of the games after FNAF 6 only last a single night as opposed to 5 nights, because most of the games, you're not coming back repeatedly to Freddy's. You're trying to get the hell out of there.
And it's interesting, every game after Pizzeria Sim has like an explicit protagonist.
Oh yeah. Like UCN makes it pretty clear you're very clearly Hudson.
Of course.
Yeah, and then Help Wanted, you're of course like Vanessa.
I guess the only one that's not like as explicit is Help Wanted 2, but like it's pretty easy to put the pieces together.
Yeah, it's like you're definitely not playing Mike.
It was not difficult to put the pieces together.
I
guess there is the theory that the Help Wanted 2 protagonist is Edwin.
That I would cry.
But Scott Cawthon is the greatest writer on earth.
Actually, Edwin is Glamrock Freddy.
Okay.
It's actually
Wrap it
Glam
up.
Duo.
Wrap it
Glam
up.
Duo. Glam Duo. Glam
He just keeps saying it.
It's Michael Afton and Edwin in Glamrock Freddy.
Oh God.
Okay. Was there how long have we been going?
Hour and 10.
Okay. Brain malfunction. There was something else I wanted to mention about
my brain. My frontal lobe.
This was actually speaking on the topic of like the characters, because this is always like my favorite topic to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Is because we did like touch on like mischaracterization and headcanons when it comes to people like the characters in FNAF.
Yes.
YouTuber I really like, who I think has a very strong interpretation of these characters. They're called Bonkabon, and they did these videos where they break down the characters of like Michael and William, and I think they
Mm-hmm.
did one for Elizabeth as well. Were like judging off the voice lines and giving
Yeah.
the voice lines a lot of attention, which is the voice lines in FNAF, especially like ever since they were introduced, they became a very important part of theorizing, because you get a lot of story from voice lines, whether like directly
Mm-hmm.
or vaguely or otherwise. Um, but a lot of the time, there has been like misinterpretations of what some voice lines mean,
Yeah.
and kind of, let's say, stretching the information, or like stretching the implication more so.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just off the top of my head, this is a very simple one. I never thought about it until I really like watched the video. There's a line in FNAF 6 that Springtrap has. It's like, "That was easier than I thought it would be." And I always thought that was just kind of like a taunt at the player. I didn't think much of it. But actually, when you think about it, it's saying that, wow, it was easier to kill my own child than I thought it would be.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, like, oh, that actually does make sense.
Well, I think
And so,
honestly, yeah, specifically his characterization in FNAF 6 as Scrap Trap is very interesting to me. Cause it definitely like it peels back the like layers of aura farming he was doing in FNAF 3 and like shows him for who he really is, you know? And I honestly think I think I understand what Scott was going for with Scrap Trap's design. It is kind of, I feel like it is kind of supposed to be sort of pathetic and stupid looking. Like it is,
in a way, man,
it is, we had this cool swaggered out Springtrap in FNAF 3, and now, we get to FNAF 6, he's just completely decrepit, falling apart, just like hanging on, desperately hanging on to
Right.
the last shreds of life left in him. And he's just this sort of sad, pathetic. He's a lot more human. You could see a lot more of his body underneath the suit. It's William Afton stripped away. All of his facades are gone. And he's sort of
I
like
think
a lot of his lines, he's almost trying to like convince the player he's still cool. Like he's like, "Oh, I knew this was a deception." No, you didn't. Why are you here, man?
It was the plan. The I am ruined born.
I'm actually
after.
playing 4D chess right now. You can't get the best of all, UhYeah.
I'm going to come back as the mimic Michael. But like, you're totally right. I think FNAF 6 is like the facade stripped back. I saw one interpretation a little bit ago that actually was kind of fun, for as crappy as a design as Scrap Trap is.
Mhm.
Like that is like more of a suit as opposed to being an actual animatronic.
Yeah.
Like there's no mechanical there's no mechanical stuff going on in there.
This is a
But
PG
it's like
podcast.
it is a choice for William to put on that suit, assuming they, of course, like
Mhm.
meta redesign. But I feel like it is like an in-universe, like he took
Yeah.
off the Springtrap suit, unfortunately,
Oh.
then like put on Jimmy Neutron.
Hmm.
And for, again, as weird as like the design looks, it is like a suit, and it's like, this is me. I mean, that's always been like a narrative kind of not theme.
I genuinely think there are good ideas behind the Scrap Trap design. It just Scott just couldn't execute it properly because
Yeah,
he
'cause
can't
sucks.
he can't model humans well. Like that's what it could have been. It could have been a good design. Like I've seen a lot of great like redesigns that are still very faithful to like the to what Scrap Trap is meant to be, that look better just because it
It's
looks
not
like
Scott
it looks
designing
like a human being.
Yeah. So I want to see a as a Dead by Daylight player, an avid Dead by Daylight player, I'd like to see Scrap Trap in the game because I feel like
Oh, they'd
the
cook.
design
They'd cook for
modelers that
sure.
behavior interactive. Oh yeah. The other thing I want to mention in regards to like Scrap Trap is that when you compare that performance and those lines in that game to like a lot of the other appearances after the fact, it
Yeah.
is a lot less theatrical and like dramatic and grandiose, like
Mm-hmm.
compared to like Dead by Daylight, right? Like he's so happy to be
Yeah.
there. It's like,
Ah, the darkest pit of hell is open for
Well, yeah,
business.
it's
he's
almost
not.
like he's still trying to perform, but it's a lot easier to see through.
Yeah, yeah. I think it depends on the player character. So like
Mm-hmm.
because you are playing as Michael in FNAF 6, I think there was you kind of maybe from Michael's perspective, that's just William Afton. He's kind of stupid little rabbit guy. But also like William might not necessarily feel inclined to be as theatrical, let's say. It's a lot more honest, so in a sense, because of who the player character
Mm-hmm.
is. And he's like, oh, bittersweet, but fitting. Uh, I know when again the Bonkabon video, which I do recommend people check out because it's a
Mm-hmm.
very good video. Um, like bittersweet but fitting is a very interesting line. Not will care, but it's like, well, that's bittersweet, but very fitting because I got to kill my own son. And the whole like, oh well, Michael killed the crying child, and oh, Elizabeth died. Well, Elizabeth was an
Also,
accident.
Michael tried to
Others,
kill him.
yeah, and it also plays into this idea like, oh, William enjoys symmetry.
Symmetry, my friend. First I killed your brother, now I kill you.
and
Yeah,
and I
that whole
genuinely
thing.
think there is like genuine, and I don't know if evidence is necessarily right words, but there are ways we can like know what William is like. It is not like a
Yeah,
complete mystery. And I think one of the main things that really like nailed in for me what William was like is weirdly enough Secret of the Mimic. Just knowing what like the kind of like super predatory businessman he was, even like before he started killing, really like just that really like set in stone in my head what like my conception of William Afton.
mm.
Because
No, I think you
it
described
all
it good.
goes back, even like it all goes back to like objectifying people, right?
Oh yeah.
It's what he does. What does Henry say? He humiliates, he degrades, he destroys.
He was definitely a misogynist.
So
Like,
it's
he
like
definitely
I
was.
think right at the time of Secret of the Mimic, I don't think William Afton had killed yet. I don't think he had killing on the mind. But he was already this very, very predatory, very cutthroat businessman who already, you could already tell he viewed people as tools, as means to an end.
Yeah.
And
There was a
yeah.
description in the Silver Eyes that's always doesn't get enough love. It's like I think it's from the eyes of either John or Charlie. Like they're looking at William Afton or Dave Miller, and they're
Mm-hmm.
like, "This is a man who has been like backed into a corner," and or I forget the exact description, but this was like a cornered animal lashing out for life and like believed that the world owed him his like cruel
Yeah.
dues or whatever. Like he was deserved. Like what I get to do, killing people, killing children. I deserve this luxury or whatever.
Mm-hmm. When it's funny, right? Like his "I always come back" line is from before he died the first time. He
I
he said
I
that
think to
before he
be fair,
even ever came back once.
there was a misconception with that line. So the line wasn't even originally William Afton's, and this is another fun little trait
Oh.
about William Afton. Is he tends to steal other characters' lines. He does it to Michael, he does it to Nightmare, he does it to Nightmare Fredbear, he does it to Henry, and he did it to the children too. Um, the line "I always come back," I believe, was originally in the FNAF 3. No, I know it was in the FNAF 3 trailer. it was one of the things like pops up on screen like in those old trailers, like oh new and improved or whatever. In FNAF 3's
Mm-hmm.
trailer, it's the original line is from the perspective of the children, and it is he will come back, he always does.
Yeah.
And then I believe in the source code for like the FNAF 3 teasers afterward that they would show like, oh, I always come back or something.
Yeah.
But it was originally from the perspective of the children. And
Mm-hmm.
then in FNAF 6 is the first time he says that line. However, considering is from the original intention is or the original perspective is of the children, and he had not died yet at that
Mm-hmm.
point. It's not referring to him coming back to life. It's referring to him coming back to
Yeah.
Freddy's.
Yeah.
I think that's very. I think the fact that you have different instances of William like stealing lines from other characters, it's very reflective of his business
Yeah.
attitude. To be honest,
Well, yeah, he says that, right? And then it turns into, I will always come back to life. I will never die. You can never get rid of me. Even if you kill me, I won't go away.
I become the mimic. Yeah.
And I think it ties into a lot of the themes of FNAF, a lot of these ideas of like corporate indifference and like the mentality that William Afton has this sort of like, you know, this lack of empathy, viewing people as tools. It is a very corporate way of viewing people, right?
Oh, yeah.
The idea of like viewing human like other people as resources.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's
like,
reflective of like the business itself. I mean, Phasma Entertainment shares the founders' values.
And yeah, that stuff's all over FNAF. You know, that is what Fazbear's all about.
It's really one of my favorite themes, and you know, as flawed as the second movie might be, it supports this more. So it's a very consistent theme in FNAF of like, oh, the business is trying to cover up its past misdeeds or like make light of it in a way. I mean, like Help Wanted, the VR game, it was an elaborate cover up, like, haha, oh yeah, it's like a kind of like a cynical, sarcastic, ironic way of it's satire. That's what it is. It's satire.
The existence of Help Wanted is really funny because in universe, William Afton is still like, people know he did kill those kids. Like that's not like, I don't think that's like a disputed fact.
It depends. So like in the books, it's like, oh yeah, it's like the police were like, oh, we're pretty sure it's William Afton, but we never had enough evidence to convict him. So like if you want to translate to the games, I think you definitely could. I think the games make it a little bit more vague, to say the least.
Well, you know that those shows on Netflix about like the serial killers, like the Monster series is called.
Yeah.
They very like heavily sensationalize and like they just make stuff up too about these serial killers. Like full on just complete, especially like the latest show. I forget who it was about exactly, but it was basically just fan fiction. That is how I sort of view Help Wanted, right? Like it's like this, it's a, you know, William Afton is this person that like people know he was a murderer, right? And he killed these kids, but then like when Fazbear comes along and just basically, well, what they pretend is all made up, you know, fan fiction about William Afton. They create, oh, he turned into Springtrap and all this stuff, right? So you know, all of that, you know, actually happened, but none of it is public information. And so Fazbear's just putting that out there to be like, wouldn't that be crazy?
You know what? Yes. Literally, it makes me wonder, like, did Phasma Entertainment realize, wait, is our founder a rotten green rabbit corpse? I wonder if we could. To be fair, it's like the type of thing that people eat up, right? Like, oh, you know, it's a very like typical slasher, like horror movie. Like, you're turning this monster into like an icon, which I think, I mean, backing it up a little bit. So literally in the second movie, you have that scene with Abby on the bus, and she's like talking
Yes.
about Freddy's and what happened in the first movie. And then the yellow rabbit came and attacked Mike.
Yeah,
But now he's
exactly.
like rotting in a back room, whatever, like a secret back room or whatever. And then you have Faz Fest,
Yeah,
which
Abby is excitedly telling this story about how she successfully about how they defeated an actual child murderer.
yeah. And you have like Faz Fest, and also like also the FNAF 3 horror attraction, Fazbear's Fright. Literally, you have like all these things that are based off of either the horror attraction in particular is literally based off like the old rumors and fairy tales surrounding the brand, like all these
Mm-hmm.
murders at the behest of this monster of a man, and then like the animatronics moving at night, like all of that. And then you have like Faz Fest, which is
Mm-hmm.
dedicated to Freddy's more in general, but also it is still this company in place that like all these people died at and whatever.
Yeah. And it is true that like a lot of classic, like very iconic slasher villains were originally based off of real serial killers.
Oh yeah, it's like I I won't get into that, but like there's certain like inspirations, I'm going to say loosely, for William Afton. Like, oh wow, that feels very standard.
Yeah.
You could say very standard psychopath, but also like I think it reminded me of the Zodiac killer, or not in particular.
I'm
Like
not
very
entirely
egotistical.
convinced Matt Pat was wrong in his first FNAF video.
I'm not sure about that, but I'm not sure about that. I feel like that was wild. I always forget that was his first ever
Yeah,
FNAF
it's
theory,
based on a
like out
real
of the
series
ballpark.
of murders.
But I like it's one of my favorite themes in FNAF of this like the company or whatever
Mm-hmm.
constantly bringing back this old mystery, like reviving the legend of Freddy
It
Fazbear.
always comes
And
back.
in a way, it's really like you give William Afton what he wants by consistently bringing back
Mm-hmm.
this that should have been left to rot, should have been
Yeah.
forgotten, like
That
generation.
is a big theme of FNAF, is like all these things that should have been forgotten just keep coming back. History rhymes. There are all these
Literally, I
all
mean,
these
yeah,
cycles. Everything
it's
just
the
keeps repeating
field.
itself.
It's the field.
And I don't think
It
I
all
I don't there are all these similarities, right? Like sort of the same story beats, repeat themselves. And I don't think that's entirely because Scott is a lazy writer, or even at all.
no.
I think that is a part. I honestly, and I think part of that is like that ties into the mimic even.
Yeah.
Right, is like history's repeating itself, because what does AI do? It repeats things that it's seen. It repeats what's already happened in just
Yeah.
new ways, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it makes sense that in this era, right, that where the mimic is the main antagonist, a lot of the events would be events we've seen before, but like twisted and put into new context and changed in all these weird ways.
You know what I also think it is? I think it's also Scott's way of like, again, I don't think it's him being a lazy writer at all. It's funny for as like, again, as crappy as people might say like the second movie is. It's like you could criticize his writing skills. I don't think it's necessarily lazy writing. I think it's like two different categories in terms of like the games though specifically.
Yeah, I definitely
Um,
like you can criticize the movie all you want. Scott put his heart into that. He wasn't like just
oh
phoning it
yeah,
in.
no,
Scott is not the kind of guy who would like he cares about this franchise maybe a little too much even. He would not, you know. There's a he wouldn't be so protective over like the lore and like whether or not he should confirm things if he just didn't care at all.
yeah. Brain malfunction. The gears are turning. What was I gonna say about Scott's lazy writing? Not lazy writing, but
His amazing
I think
writing.
he's the greatest writer on earth. But I think it's his way of like these repeating themes and like narratives in the story.
Yes.
Again, I don't think it's him just reusing plot beats because I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
I think it's him clarifying. It's his way of telling a new story in a way with like the mimic and
Mm-hmm.
whatever, while also still like while using the opportunity of this repetition to go back and clarify things from the past.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's been a big like speculation. Oh, we might go to sister location in like the next game or DLC, or like oh, this ties back. I mean, even Secret of the Mimic literally took place in the like earliest of the timeline, and it had a lot of in a way, it did clarify a lot of things about
Mm-hmm.
other stuff in the franchise, and so I think that is like Scott Cawthon's way of his way of clarifying stuff that
Mm-hmm.
we might have misconstrued or like
And
might have not gotten in the past.
the franchise, Five Nights at Freddy's is very thematically rich, and I don't think people give Scott enough credit. Like I think
Absolutely.
people are way too dismissive of Scott. Like there are some people who act like the man is just incapable of making an artistic decision.
I understand. Like, is Scott perfect? No, not at all. He has made mistakes.
Yeah,
And
I understand
there
getting
is,
frustrated with the guy, especially when we're talking about security breach.
yeah. Like,
But
there are
again, that
reasons
is
to have,
him being very protective of the franchise. Like that is not even
yeah.
like if that is not a sign of him like you know that is that exactly what I was talking about. He almost like he loves his franchise almost too much. Where it's his
Yeah.
baby, and he he couldn't trust the story with other people. And, I don't think he was like purposely like, I'm going to make this game as confusing as possible.
Solve my riddle.
Solve my
Steel.
riddle, Steel.
It's like I always like to make that joke, like Steel, like, Scott, what is this supposed to mean? And Scott's just like, collect my Talbot files, Steel Wool Studio.
And I can't entirely like I can't get super mad at the guy for it because at that point, right, he had been independently developing Five Nights at Freddy's completely on his own for like 4 years. Like putting that into somebody else's hand, like giving
Yeah.
basically giving up his baby, that could not have been easy.
Yeah, it's always like a balancing act for me because it's a balance of like I understand why people have the criticisms of Scott and like the valid issues that have been
Yeah,
that have popped up
he's
in the
not
franchise.
he's not the we can joke, but he's not the greatest writer on earth. He makes mistakes.
No, and it's like but I also understand again, like he is like you said, like at that point he had not grown accustomed to giving the franchise off to anyone else, which is funny because like he retired a few years
Yeah.
ago, or whatever. But he definitely did not actually retire.
Well, he retired. I think he mostly, he retired from game development, is I think what he meant by that.
Yeah, like you could.
He's
Yeah,
still, he's still working on FNAF, the story and everything, but he's not like solo deving everything.
Scott is Tom. Tom is like just Scott's ult. But also, what was I gonna say? I think it's funny because I've seen this pop up before a few times where like people will compare or like push FNAF against Undertale.
Yeah.
Or like put them
That
against
that
each
pisses
other.
me off genuinely.
I think the issue with that, it's like comparing apples to
Yeah,
oranges.
no, they're
like,
telling
yeah,
very different stories in very different ways.
exactly. Like the only
The only
similarity
similarity is they're
is
both
it's
indie. They're both indie. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
And FNAF really isn't indie anymore.
Yeah, no,
like,
it hasn't been
yes,
for a while.
yeah, it's not indie anymore.
I mean, it's still it's technically indie, but it's it's indie in the sense that it is independently published.
I
But
guess
it
you
is
could say that.
it is. It
maybe-
is like by definition it is indie, but
No, the issue with that
the
is-
term indie is associated more with it's just the way it's used colloquially is not its like literal definition.
This was an issue recently because of like a Game Awards thing, like what classifies as an indie game. But putting that aside,
Because Steel Wool is an indie studio.
yeah, again, it kind of goes into like what's the definition of indie because it's such a it's a
It just
loose
means
term.
independently published. I mean, that's it. But the way it's used, colloquially, sort of implies this sort of like a smaller scale, right? It implies,
Yeah.
less funding. But that isn't like technically a part of the definition at all.
What was I gonna say about that?
I think you were
Let me
moving to something else, actually.
there's something about Scott Cawthon. Oh, Undertale. That's like
Yes.
because so like of course you could say Undertale is the cleaner narrative, and like it's the more like coherent and put together compared to FNAF. That's because you're not theorizing much
Yeah.
about Undertale.
Well, yeah. Also,
Like,
FNAF's not about, and I mean, this is gonna sound strange, but the point isn't to tell a super clean, like, here, point A, point B, 3-act story,
yeah.
That's not what Scott's doing. And it never has been.
No, it hasn't. That's I think the issue is that people really do want that out of FNAF.
Yeah.
And I think in a way you get that with like maybe the books. Not the books, but like the original Silver Eyes trilogy is
You get a very nice, like, straightforward narrative in, like, Secret of the Mimic with the Murray family and everything.
Oh yeah. The issue is that, but using Undertale as the example, of course, they both offer different avenues of
Mhm.
enjoyment. I think like the
Yes.
point of FNAF is the theorizing. Like here are
Mhm.
some hard facts, here are like some evidence clues or like hints, whatever. And then you make up your mind, and you use your media literacy if you have it.
Mhm.
The power of deduction,
Yep.
and you come to the conclusions you come to.
And
Whereas with Undertale, you're there for the
yeah,
experience. It is a full story.
it's telling a full story, just, and you don't have to, like, and people do try to, like, theorize about Deltarune like it's FNAF. It's really funny.
It just isn't. It's like there was some stuff. I mean, there's always been like an idea in video game industry, like there's some things that are left open ended.
There's like WD Gaster is like really the biggest, like, mystery in Undertale, and I don't think how many answers is Toby ever actually gonna give about him? He's just sort of this mysterious guy.
I mean, I don't know enough about like Deltarune or whatever. I still need to finish playing it, but like,
I've not played Deltarune.
but like it's how to put it. I think it's comparing apples to oranges, and the point of FNAF, and it's why it isn't interesting to see sometimes like people do get cynical. I think about FNAF sometimes, which again I understand. Of course, I like valid. I do get it, but I think I think again it's that balancing act of part of it you could say is like Scott makes his mistakes, but also
Everyone makes mistakes.
like
I've had more than my share.
but also like it is about theorizing. So can you really blame the franchise for like kind of doing what it's always done?
Yeah, I genuinely enjoy the way that Scott tells a story, and I mean, he doesn't always execute it perfectly, right? Like, he even, like, he expected people to be able to solve FNAF 4 pretty easily, and obviously, that didn't happen.
He has writer bias. Like, he has, like,
yeah.
It's the writer bias that, like, oh, you didn't know the story that I wrote? I made it so clear.
But,
so it's clear to you because you wrote the story.
And, sometimes I see people, complaining about FNAF's narrative, and I just don't know if they, I don't know. It's just strange because they're sort of,
it's a lot of stigma. That's what it is.
They're complaining about the franchise at like at such like a fundamental level, like just the way the story is told and like the way it's always been told.
Right.
And it just, I don't know. It confuses me, I guess.
No, I thought about this a lot, and this is my other favorite topic to talk about. So let me tell you a little bit of a story here, Mr. Meat Loafers. So I think it can be agreed upon that part of why FNAF got big to begin with is because of the online atmosphere. Like it got big off of people talking at YouTubers specifically. Like YouTube particular is how it got big. Like Markiplier playing it, PewDiePie playing it, Yami Mash, I think was like back in the day. MatPat, like The Theory, The Living Tombstone made a song off of it. It got big off of people on YouTube. It's always thrived in the YouTube atmosphere. And that only continued to be true as the years progressed, as the theorizing like community got bigger, especially with like Security Breach,
Mm-hmm.
and as the franchise progressed, it has always thrived in the YouTube and online atmosphere.
Yes.
Um, and so for a long time, and I always tie it back to this because I think it is just true. MatPat was specifically game theory, will say, was the number one kind of source
Oh,
for
for sure.
theorizing and lore for the entire community. There weren't as many theorists back in the day. A lot of the
Yeah.
time, it was more so like people playing the game
No, I mean,
itself,
like
and they
the
had like a
community consensus for the lore was just whatever game theory was saying.
yeah, literally. Like they would watch Markiplier play it. They'd watch Darko
And
play it, and
I
maybe
mean,
like
it's
Darko.
interesting because I never watched like any of the gameplay back in the day. I've always been, interested in almost exclusively the theorizing. Like the first FNAF content I watched was like 8-bit gaming.
Hmm.
And then I
It
watched
was
MatPat for years, and I'll be honest, I didn't watch really any other theorists until like maybe like a couple of years ago, like pretty recently.
oh no, that's understandable because here's the thing: it's kind of like a joke to be honest, so like a meme in the community that a lot of FNAF fans, especially like maybe like the younger folk, especially back in the day anyway. Like nowadays maybe it's a bit different, but especially back in the day when those original Click Team games were coming out,
Hmm.
they did not play the games themselves. They
I
watched
haven't played
somebody.
the games.
Exactly. Like you're the example of like you didn't play the games. You watched like you watched the gameplay. Like you watched Markiplier play it.
Well, it's
I mean,
like,
there was a
and like I've watched so many theories at this point that I feel like I know more about the games than a person who would just like do a normal playthrough
no,
would
yeah,
would
you
find
probably
out
do
just going through a normal playthrough, right?
because you can be a fan of something without like necessarily. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
maybe movies are a bit different, but like a
I mean,
game, you can know everything about a game. Like if you sit down and
yeah.
watch like a fun fact breakdown of like Secret of the Mimic, you'll learn that hey, the Mimic has stilts. It has stilts that protrude from it, and that's not something that a normal like player is going to realize when they're playing the game.
And
But you know,
that's really something that can only happen with games where you become a big fan of it when you haven't actually played it.
oh yeah. Um, well, continuing off what I was saying, so it was specifically around the time of Security Breach where I think a lot the theorizing community there was a
Mm-hmm.
big shift. There was a big shift between people just playing the games and then people talking about like the deeper
Mm-hmm.
lore and whatnot. You had a lot of people like John FNAF pop up and he like tore Security
Popping
Breach asunder.
off.
Yeah, with his baby chips and Charlie bots.
Absolute peak.
I think Rytos was another one that popped up after Security Breach. It's
Yeah. Yeah,
Fantasy.
I was
Uh,
I was there around this time, yeah.
yeah, and
Um
then like now I think like the last year or two is when Now Raven, T Dreads, and
the
like
T
Wizard
the
Circle
T the
popped
T
up.
Dreads Renaissance.
Yeah, like there's like in more recent years you've seen a lot more what I call a
Mm-hmm.
the diversification when it comes to theorizing,
Oh,
and I
for
am
sure.
glad that we have a lot more voices and like perspectives now because you get a lot more for again like I would say like oh I like John FNAF but sometimes doesn't stick the landing for me for as crackpot as some theories may be like your dual process theories and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know your Charlie bots whatever for as wild as they might be I'm glad we have them because it's food for thought
Hey, I mean, yeah,
and they
yeah,
are
yeah.
very
Like dual
interesting.
process theory were the ones who introduced me to the idea of Vanessa being an Afton.
Yeah, there you go. Hmm.
Of course, that I'm pretty sure they said that Michael was her father, but still.
I think they said Michael was the vengeful spirit. So, but anyway, case in point though, again, like there's a lot more of variety in theorists now, and you hear a lot more
Mm-hmm.
perspectives as opposed to just hearing game theory. I think a lot of people nowadays would say like, "Oh, I prefer to watch this other person compared to like game
Oh,
theory, especially
I
nowadays."
barely watch game theory anymore.
Oh yeah, not nothing to do with like the fact
Not
that I
like
like Tom's
I
great,
hate
but
game
like
theory.
no,
No.
I sometimes I give it's never been like MatPat's fault or whatever. The issue, and this ties back into what I was saying, is because game theory and MatPat were the number one source for like understanding the story and franchise for like so many years. You have a lot of like, let's say, old fans, or even like not even necessarily old fans, but just fans in general that will watch game theory and they will take what MatPat said like 6 years ago at face value.
Yeah.
Like there are people, I think this one always annoys me. Oh, game theory was the retcon,
Nope.
even though it's like Scott has went on record to say no, it was like
because
Game
there
Theory
are
was never the intention.
there are alarm clocks in hospitals.
Yeah, like there's so many reasons why Dream Theory does not make sense. I think Matt had even said in his original video, like, "Oh, there's holes in this theory."
Yeah.
But a lot of people just took that and ran with it, and like, "Oh, there's this."
Oh, I definitely took that and ran with it. I remember, I remember talking about Dream Theory on the playground in like 4th grade.
No, exactly though. It's the other one is that MatPat wrote the lore, like Scott changed
wrote the lore
because MatPat got it right. You know, like Scott Cawthon was taking what MatPat said.
Like they're Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner.
Yeah, it's like there's like it's kind of like a meme, like MatPat.
Yeah, it's just Scott Cawthon trying to best MatPat.
Yeah, and it's like it's funny. But also, people actually took it at face value, and I've seen people like even outside of the community have this misconception. Oh, like didn't he like change the law because game theory got it right?
Just another example of people, discrediting, Scott Cawthon's ability to just tell a story at a basic level.
Yeah, and it's like looking back in hindsight, it's like, oh, of course, game theory wasn't like the case. Like, there's so much they're saying that, and it's funny. I don't know, like maybe people would disagree with me, but in the game files, this is something I always like to bring up. It's a little known fact that Nightmare in the game files of FNAF 4 is literally called Shadow Freddy, and that is like nowadays it is like a little bit more well known. But it's surprising to me that never came up. Like I don't remember that coming back in the day.
I didn't know that until a few months ago.
Exactly. It's like. But it's I think the reason why it was like so surprising to me is that like people tore apart the game files for FNAF 2 and they found like that one Mike sprite, like that's been known for a while, but you didn't find Shadow Freddy in the game files. It's so weird to me.
And that was the thing, right? Getting finally actually like spreading my wings and going and watching all these other theorists other than like MatPat. Is when I realized just how many blind spots I did have.
Oh,
right, because all the information I had learned about the game was from game theory videos, and you don't realize really just how much there is until you like really get into the weeds. Like I remember, I remember watching the the video about Baby Chip. I'll bring it up again. That was the first time I'd ever heard about that. Like, I did not know that chip existed before I watched that video. It blew my mind.
But they also, especially John, like the whole Baby Chip and like, the glass on the floor in the daycare room or whatever. It's like, these little details that like a lot, particularly, I guess you could say game theory or like some theorists would not touch on. But then you're like, wait, this detail actually is important? What?
Yeah.
And this makes sense? It's one of those things where it's like, again, I'm glad we have so many different like eyes and perspectives now because you have a lot more variety in theories. And even if you don't necessarily agree with every theory,
game theory would never come up with 14 theory.
They wouldn't. It's literally, again, like again, I'm so glad that we have that now. Moving forward, so like we had that boost with Security Breach. The thing about that, and I guess this kind of betrays what I just said. When you think about it, especially in terms of like arguing or debating FNAF, it is like politics. It is politics. You are just changing the words around instead of saying like, not to get too political here, instead of saying, again, just an example, Donald Trump is ruining the country, the Mimic is ruining FNAF. It's the same thing, but you're changing the names. But like it's because it's always like in terms of like comparing it to politics, it's because FNAF can be polarizing when you're like pitting ideas against each other. And that's the thing, is just like, you're not supposed to argue with people about, oh, you're wrong, I'm right, or something. You know, there's a way to debate FNAF, let's say,
Yeah.
in a very like polite and reasonable manner.
And
It's
that's
okay to disagree.
That's the thing about FNAF, and I don't. I might come off like a little pretentious. I'm not trying to, but the thing about FNAF is it has this very unconventional, method of telling its story, right? And then it also has a lot of very sort of esoteric and strange concepts and ideas in it. But at the same time, it has all these like very like unique, esoteric, sort of unconventional things about it, but then it's also incredibly mainstream.
Yeah.
And so that I feel like that creates a little bit of, cognitive dissonance, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word.
No, I know what you mean. You're absolutely right. It's paradoxical. That's how I put it. It is paradoxical in how it is. And I think how I always put it is that the FNAF fandom is not like other fandoms. So it's always like a thing with fandom that, oh, there's always going to be a toxic part of fandom. It just comes with like the concept.
Comes with
and
your fandom.
Sort of the gig. It comes with the gig. Like, it is like toxicity. It just exists. You have like the hardcore fans that might have a bit of like a superiority complex, or you have people like really dead set in their ways about something or whatever. However, let me use an example. So you have two people, let's say, arguing on FNAF Twitter about Will-Care, or Will-Care's true, Will-Care isn't, whatever. And it becomes a heated debate, whatever, because, it's FNAF, I guess. You gotta...
This is serious stuff, man.
Yeah, this is serious stuff, man. If you're anti-William Afton, well, William Afton's ruining the country.
William Afton killed my grandma, okay?
Yeah, like... But, the funny thing is that both sides of the argument will most likely be wrong, because inherently what they are repeating from their mouths is just regurgitation from what they heard from their favorite theorist.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying, at the end of the day, FNAF theorists are politicians trying to perpetuate their own narratives. Because that's where we are at the end of the day. We are trying to make you believe in what we believe. Or we are proposing a theory.
And I don't necessarily even want people to believe in what I believe. Well, believe in what I believe, like I believe much of anything. I'm really not. I'm not 100% about almost anything in this series, and that's the fun part.
But it's like it's because, again, like the polarizing nature of it. It's like, I think there is a sort of comparison to be made there. Here's the thing: even if like I think like MatPath was the example. Like, even he said Dream Theory was like there was problems with it, but people still took it anyway. It's like, you don't necessarily have a choice in the matter if like someone wants to believe your theory.
It doesn't matter how many caveats I put in. Like, this is just this is just sort of an idea I had.
Like, he's saying it 100%. Like,
because there there are ideas for I have for videos that are very like crackpot things that I 100% don't think are true, but that I just think are like interesting to sort of think about, right?
Yeah.
And I guess I'm very hesitant to make those kind of videos at the same time.
No, here's one of my 2 cents. Do it, because crackpot stuff is always like the most interesting stuff. Even if it's not, even if it's like, oh, that doesn't necessarily make total sense.
Yeah,
but
like the most crackpot idea I have right now is that the Mimic did the DCI.
They didn't. No, the Johns was like the puppet did the DCI or whatever.
I don't know.
I feel like I've heard that before. But also, so like what I was saying about like, oh, like certain fans or whatever. Not to say like all fans are like somehow brain.
I hate all of you. Unsubscribe right now.
Unsubscribe from Meat Loafers. But
I mean, subscribe, like, and subscribe, and comment, and I don't know, super chat or something. Give me money.
But like it's fans watch their favorite YouTuber, and of course, like, okay, favorite in terms of like FNAF theorizing, of course, or like the lore, or whatever. And so, like, okay,
I go to Mr. Beast for my FNAF info.
Exactly. You know what? Why not? But like, of course, you'll take them at face value because okay, I like what they're saying about like the lore or whatever. Um, and so like, of course, when it comes to like debating about FNAF, they will repeat what that theorist said because it's what
Mhm.
the viewer has decided to believe in because it makes sense in their head. Um, and a lot of the time, this ties back to the whole idea of well, you don't necessarily engage with the property itself. When I say that, I don't mean it like in a negative way. Like again, the whole like you didn't play the games yourselves; you just watched the theorist, and so that's your
Mhm.
understanding of the franchise, or at least this aspect of the lore.
Yeah.
There's not a problem with that on the surface. There's no problem with that at all. Like we all
No.
like watching.
I haven't I haven't played the games.
Exactly. Yeah. Like there's not a problem with
But
that. It's just
at least I try to cast a very wide net when
of
it comes
course,
to
yeah.
theories. Like anytime I see like on my recommended a theorist I haven't seen before, I immediately subscribe, watch a video. So at this point, I'm subscribed to just like every theorist on YouTube at this point, you know? And somehow I keep finding new ones. You know, there are so many people out there, and a lot of people who don't get very much attention at all that have like genuinely really good ideas.
Yeah. It's why it's interesting because like I said, security breach, it opened up like a wider pool,
Mm-hmm.
thankfully. And it gave like it gave FNAF another boost in popularity. But I think we have gotten to a point where even like the theorizing in terms of like YouTube might be a bit diluted because there's so many people doing it. Um it makes me worried for like the long term, but I try not to think about it. What was I saying before? Because people again consume the concept or like their understanding of FNAF from a particular YouTuber nowadays, how like again, as opposed to like back in the day, people were kind of united under the one true game theory
under
flag.
the one true theory.
Yeah, like the one
Andrew's the
true
vengeful
like
spirit. That's the one true theory.
yeah, it used to be it used to be a dream theory. But nowadays you have that because you have that wider pool, you have a lot more of like opposing perspectives. Uh and so that's where you get to
Mm-hmm.
like the kind of heated debates and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I think there was not another fandom like FNAF that has the same problem. If you want to call it a problem
Mm-hmm.
necessarily, I think the
I
problem
mean,
you could say that
there's like shipping battles. They're
yeah,
sort of in
but
the same ballpark if you think about it.
it's not the same concept of like because FNAF is so unconventional and paradoxical and how with how like it tells its story. When you're doing like a shipping battle or when you're like arguing maybe some character aspects in like another franchise, you're not arguing facts because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, because other franchises have like a more clear and coherent like view of their
I
aspects or
mean, some
whatever.
fandoms do get very heated about headcanons.
Oh yeah, no, there's like heated debates, but with FNAF, because it's all like theorizing,
Mm-hmm.
it's like you're building upon theories and whatnot. You are like constantly arguing your own foundation a
Yeah.
lot of the time, but
Yeah.
also to that end, a lot of people act like there aren't hardcore like facts in FNAF story.
There are.
Like
There are a
they're
lot.
all like
There are
William
plenty.
Afton is Springtrap, like
Well,
FNAF
Mic
2
Trap
takes
is
place in
technically
1987.
possible because we aren't
Yeah.
told explicitly. Like, come on.
Just
That's not
again,
how
like you get
stories work.
yeah. But like, oh, by the way, thank you, Gia. I get my FNAF love from the "It Was Me" Michael series. Thank you. But it's like, actually, you know what? You should listen to everything I say, and I'm the only
Yeah.
correct theorist because I'm literally Springtrap.
And
So like,
I would never in a million years, I think, like I'd never in a million years like consider like another theorist an opponent, like, oh, we need to debate, I need to defeat you in the
no,
marketplace of ideas. Like we're
I need to
peers.
defeat you in the
It's
election.
we're peers. It's a collaborative effort. We all have the same goal.
Yeah, I think thankfully like actual like particularly in the content creation space, well, I think we're like decently all like respective of each other. It's no matter
Except for that John FNF guy. I hate that guy.
uh, I know you have like a heated
He
rivalry.
plagiarized me,
with him, but
guys. That's canon. That's a true theory. And I'm starting Twitter beef
did you
about
OBS?
it. No, it didn't
Okay.
crash.
Every time the video slightly buffers, I'm like, no.
I
No,
will.
not again.
Don't worry. I will scream the
But-
second it crashes.
But like, it's just an interesting kind of like microcosm, I guess you could say, of like how the
Mhm.
fandom is and how it interacts with itself. Because everything we just talked about, like how the fandom like kind of it's an Ouroboros. It's an Ouroboros, like literally like apparently wait. It's like maybe wait. Are you sure? Okay. The saying it died again.
It died? I'm not seeing that. Okay, this is
Oh my
this is
god!
strange.
I'm watching the stream and like the quality, like really. Ooh.
Oh boy. Okay. Okay. I think it's good now. I think the Wi-Fi was on the fritz for a little bit. But it's up. We're on the up and
Okay.
up.
What was I gonna say? Bad malfunction.
I tried to
But, oh, yeah,
donate, but
so,
my
like-
card declined. Oh no.
Oh no, it's in the negatives.
Only got
Oh.
$14 in my name. Oh, what is going on the stream, bro? Okay.
You're seeing it too,
I think
right?
it's
Did you
fine. I
see
think
that?
it's fine now. I think that was the
Okay, I think
before
we're good.
times.
Oh, that's like I think Glitch Trap invaded the system.
Yeah. Glitch. Sorry, guys. Glitch trap got in my computer.
But like I said, it's like the FNAF fandom is like an Ouroboros of itself, where they get their understanding from like content creators on
It's
the
a
platform.
big
in the
game of
community,
telephone.
as it is a big game of telephone, as opposed to like coming to your own. I don't want to say people
Mhm.
don't come to their own conclusions,
Yeah.
but it is easier for a lot of people, especially more casual fans, let's say, to like watch a theorist or whatever and them explain it to them, and they're
Mhm.
like, okay, that's just true in my head now. Especially, I will tell you, I can say with like experience, because you might think like, oh, that's not like a big majority of the fandom,
Yeah.
because of course, like people like in, let's just say, people we might interact with on a more like consistent basis that are also FNAF fans, that they are probably on the same level of fan as us, so they're like a little more open-minded, let's say. But I literally, to paint a picture, I have gotten a comment before. One of my favorite comments ever. It was on a theory I did. Sorry, I'm still Matt Pat pilled, and I'm not open to new ideas right now. At least they were honest.
It's such. I'm just gonna start commenting that on every video I see. Well,
But like one of but also like I get a lot of this is a really fun one. So I did like an SFM animation a little while ago that's like Springtrap owes child support.
yeah.
And you will not believe the amount of comments I got. It's not Evan, it's Dave.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't, because it's a meme at the end of the day, and the audio came from like a few years ago before Dave was.
I
even, like, a thing.
didn't make the audio. Okay.
No, I didn't. It was just an animation. But I dropped something. But also it's like a lot of people. The addendum to a lot of those comments is that they think that MatPat made that theory.
Well, the
MatPat
Dave
did cover that
theory. Yeah, MatPat
the
did
whole
not create
Dave, but-
that theory.
No, it was Hyperdroid, but a lot of people again.
Well, yeah, MatPat
the,
didn't create that theory, and he went to great lengths in his videos to tell his audience that he didn't, and they still think he did.
Yeah, like literally, it's again because I don't blame MatPat for any of like the
No.
misconceptions or misinterpretations people might have about the franchise. As much as I might say like, oh, because of game theory, it's not their fault. It's just like it's the byproduct almost. It's like
Mhm.
nature in a way. It just happened.
Yeah.
Like it just kind of did.
There is this tendency for some people to get very mad at MatPat for that, and it's really not like it's not his fault.
No, it's just a shame. I think it's not like they could have even done anything, because he like he even said he went through great lengths to say Hyperdroid did this. Guys, look, Map had made this theory about the Crunch Child being Dave. I'm like, come on.
It was a Morty.
But like, what I realized is that the type of FNAF fans I get a lot of the time in my comments, especially, it's the type of people that are like a lot more casual.
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, there is like a casual side to like the fan base in a way.
Oh no,
I know
definitely.
a lot of people that are like that. Like I know a lot of people that used to be into FNAF a lot more back in like 2014, 2015, twenty
Mm-hmm.
sixteen, in like the early years of it, and like oh they might like cosplay, and they like the concept more than the actual like idea,
Yes,
so to speak. They
exactly.
or like they enjoy more of like the stuff surrounding the franchise. Like back in the
Mm-hmm.
day, people would make animatics or
Yeah.
whatever.
I think
Was it a
it
Tony Cry
is
Night?
it is interesting. I think and this might sound crazy. A lot of FNAF popularity doesn't come from what FNAF actually is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like it's like again,
It's so
uh
interesting to see sometimes, right? Like the things that make that are what make FNAF so popular. The things that I see a lot of like more casual fans, being attracted to, are just genuinely just so far from what I love about the
the VHS.
franchise. Yeah, the
Like the
VHS.
VHS, like
God,
the analog Hollywood stuff popped off like a few years ago because of that like one
he ate them.
yeah, I mean, yeah, but like that is so far removed from what FNAF actually is. Even if some of them tell like an interesting story that's like more or
Yeah,
less,
I mean,
let's say like
I'm not gonna, crap on them. They're,
no,
some
no,
of
no,
them are
no.
well made, scary, but it like being like, oh, I think the game should be more like the VHS series. Like, what are you talking
It's
about?
just like it's not what FNAF is, and it's always been that thing where like FNAF really is carried by its fandom in a lot of ways, and it's not necessarily a fault of the franchise entirely, anyway. But it's just the FNAF fandom does like breed creativity a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and like look at all the it has a subgenre of its own in terms of gaming, like the fan
Yeah,
games. Like look at all the fan games
yeah,
people
yeah.
have made.
FNAF has just become a genre of game
It is, like it pretty much is,
that like
and
there's
it's
a whole tab
so.
for it on Game Jolt.
Literally, it's like I think I've never met another franchise. I've never like seen another franchise that has like its own subgenre of video gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think that exists.
And I mean, I will say,
Beyond
like,
FNAF.
at least, like, in my generation, Gen Z, FNAF is just, like, ubiquitous. Like, everyone had, like, back, at least back in, like, 2014 and such, like, they watched Markiplier play it, or they, like,
Yeah.
remember something from back then.
Yeah.
And I'd say, like, a vast majority of the people, who are, like, fans of FNAF are not, like, super, as invested in the lore as, like, say we are, or even, like, some
Yeah.
of our viewers are, right? Well, some of my viewers, I guess.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I know. Mine are chopped. It's okay. You can say it. But no, it's totally like I know I have friends like that. Like I have one. This is very funny to me. So this was a little while ago. I was in a Discord call with them. And they were like, I think we were like briefly talking about FNAF or something or whatever. Um, and it came up like, I was saying something along the lines of because they were like the type of fan that got into it in the early
Mm-hmm.
days. And they did at the time like the lore and like theorizing, like, oh, the mystery of who did the bite
Yeah.
of 87, or like who Purple Guy was or whatever. Again, like back before we had a name like
Yeah.
William Afton. But they fell out of love with it because they had this conception like, oh, it's all about like solving the timeline now. And
No.
like timeline has always been a part of it.
Yeah,
Of
people
course.
talk a lot about the timeline. I don't care.
But
The
like,
timeline
not
is
even like
like well, like I care about the timeline, but like I definitely don't put as much focus on it as some other theorists do.
I don't even think a time. I mean, like every so often, of course, there is like a timeline theory, and it is something people talk about, but it's not like big on people's minds.
No,
Really.
I mean,
Especially because a lot of people will agree that like, oh yeah, this just takes place here. Like FNAF 2, 1987, FNAF 1, 1993.
you somehow
And
you somehow still get quite a lot of debates about like, oh, did FNAF 1 take place in 19 1992 or 1993, and I'm like,
It's like,
guys,
yeah.
can we be serious for a second?
Yeah, it's just like, but I think like the one that like most people like that's like the most difficult to place is Sister Location, because like
Yeah.
that thing after FNAF 1, after FNAF 3. But point being though, it's like they had that conception of like, oh, it's how to put it again, like that whole like timeline thing, or like, oh, this like theorizing isn't what it used to be. Theorizing really hasn't changed much.
Uh,
The only thing that's changed is, I think, as a franchise progresses, and this dives into something
there
else,
are
like, oh,
more
is FNAF complex?
pieces.
Yeah, it's just like, so here's the thing: is FNAF complicated?
Yes.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes. Okay, I have
But that's the
I
thing.
have
That's
a
the thing.
caveat
That
to
is what
that.
I love about it, right?
I have a caveat to that. So, as
Mhm.
a franchise progresses and you have more entries and more installments, it's of course going to get more complicated, simply because of
Yeah.
the sheer amount of content
Well,
you have to
and
go through.
people definitely do overcomplicate it.
Yeah, I think
Like,
like, so for
definitely.
example, you could say Star Wars is complicated
Mhm.
because look at all the movies they have, and all like they have books that are actually canon to like the singular universe or whatever. Um and like so on and so forth.
Yeah, if you want to dive into
I
all the nitty-gritty details of Star Wars, you could go down an endless rabbit hole. And you'd
Yeah.
have things to theorize about too.
Yeah, like it's like that is like they have a lot more extra material than FNAF does. Most people would not survive. Like FNAF fans would not survive like, I think, Warhammer 4K or whatever. Um but it's like on a very small basis. The FNAF is about, okay, man kills children, stuffs children inside the suits. Actually, let me actually back up, because that's like kind of underselling it, to be fair. If you played games 1 to 6, maybe also like tack on UCN, and if you like if you were paying attention, like if you
Mhm.
went in there like trying to understand the story or whatever, like looking for clues, like how you were supposed to, like, if you were engaging with it
Mhm.
like in the intended way, then you would get a version of the
Yeah.
story. Is it the correct version or the full version? No, but you would get a good general grasp of, okay, this guy killed these kids. He like the bodies were inside the suits,
Mhm.
the possessing them. Apparently, maybe that Mike guy from the first game is the same one in like all the games or whatever. You would get a general
Yes.
grasp of what's going
Well,
on.
yeah, and that's the
And
thing, right? A lot of the things that are debated about the timeline are sort of smaller details that don't matter as much in the grand scheme of things. If you really
exactly.
step back and just look at like the whole picture, right? There is a story there. Like there's a decently clear story. Like you can get a narrative out of, the first 6 games
Yeah.
for sure.
And it's funny. So like this person I was talking to, the whole like timeline thing.
Mhm.
I brought up like, no, William Afton doesn't really care about his kids, and that was a surprise to them, because they, for all intents and purposes, they thought Will Care was like,
God.
they don't know the name Will Care, but it's pretty much what they believed. Because of, it's that example of, oh, I got my lore from game theory, or even
Yeah.
like some people got the like, especially like more recent years, because of the whole like analog horror, back when that was like a big
Yeah.
thing, and how
He
like
ate
those were
the
like adapting this, how
What?
they were adapting the
I
story.
can't stop thinking about that video.
I ate them, Michael. Um, but like the tapes, oddly enough, like a lot of them kind of leaned into Will Care in a
Mm,
way. And so people that would watch those because, ooh, spooky, oh, this made
yeah,
FNAF
Will
spooky
cares
again.
about kids maybe a little bit too much in some of these.
He ate them. He ate them because he cared. But yeah, it's a very interesting sort of like kind of rabbit hole in a way, how FNAF kind of
Yeah.
feeds into itself, and it is different from other fandoms, I think.
Yeah.
Ugh. Okay, we've been
Okay.
going for like 2 hours, I
We
think.
have
Did you
been
want to?
going for like 2 hours. 2 hours, 13 minutes, and 44 seconds.
Mm. Ugh. Is that? Are we gonna wrap it up?
I think we probably should. What should our
Okay.
conclusion be after this mega rant?
FNAF fans hate FNAF. They don't know what FNAF is. I'm the only correct person.
That's so true. Scott
I'm the
Cawthon
only.
is the greatest writer on earth, and I'm the only one who understands him.
Exactly.
I always come back.
That's true. It
That
was-
and also here, I have a better conclusion. There was a surprising amount of like real world like concepts that exist in FNAF in some way.
yeah. We
And pop culture.
sort of had 2 or like 3 different conversations. We talked about, you know, the real world concepts, and we talked about the movie, then we talked about the fandom.
You're right. See, this was so productive.
This is the most productive conversation I've ever had.
Exactly. You're never gonna have another guest like me on this.
Every
because-
I'm gonna be chasing this high for the rest of time.
Actually, like you're gonna die after the podcast ends,
Oh.
so that's why
By your hand?
I don't want to say anything.
I don't want to incriminate myself.
I don't want to give it away. I don't
Oh
want to
yeah,
give
yeah.
the surprise
Spoilers.
away.
You're
Yeah.
right. You're right.
But let's just say,
Leave it up to the audience to solve that bit of lore.
I hope you're ready for some midnight motoring.
Oh no. Ah. I think I'm literally gonna end the video with like an edit of my little PNG tuber being ran over by a car.
Wait, fire. You know what you should do? It should be like you're chasing a ball into the street.
Oh, I was thinking about using the clip of Brian Family Guy being ran over.
Way even better. Can you put me like in the driver's seat?
You could be in the driver's seat.
Thank you.
Okay, we should probably also do a proper intro to before that. Like, okay, all right, guys, I've been Meat Loafers, and okay, wait. All right, everyone, I've been Meat Loafers. Go subscribe to TheDoctorIsIn. Maybe subscribe to me even. I don't know.
I don't know about
It's up to you. Okay. See, Maury did this too in the last episode. Then I told them not to subscribe to them. So I
but
think
you
I
know
have to do the
what?
same thing here.
You know what? The issue there is that I have an army of fetuses as a fan base, and on my command, they will attack you. Like they will tear you apart.
Yeah, I think you
You're-
have Let me think. Let me crunch the numbers. More than 1,000 times my audience. So
Look, don't undersell yourself.
I might be cooked. I mean,
You
you know,
are a
it's
wretched,
not.
rotten little beast.
You know, I'm not like comparing, but like that's just the numbers, you know.
And you know what? 90,000 people are gonna tear you apart.
Yeah, they're gonna kill me.
Yeah,
they're all
you know,
they're
like,
all gonna be driving a car at the same time.
You know that one scene? I forget the movie. Like I Am Sparta.
Hmm.
You're gonna get thrown
What,
off a mountain.
300?
Oh,
I
you're right.
am-
That was,
The doctor.
and then my army of 9-year-olds will like beat you up like on the playground.
Okay, I could probably edit some kind of outro from all of that.
There
I think
we
I think we're
go.
good. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye bye.
Thanks for tuning in.
Goodbye.
It's been a great.
Farewell.
I hope you all had a great time. I've had a great time talking to the doctor
Say
here.
bye bye to Meat Loafers. Say
He's a
bye
great
to him
guy.
forever.
You know, he's you know, great when it comes to FNAF, not so much when it comes to Marvel Rivals, but you know, it's okay.
You'll regret this deeply.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye bye.
Quality over
Farewell.
quantity. Lies. I'm algo maxing right now, okay? Alright. Fuck off. Hate you all.
Wait, did you get that? Like, wait.
Yeah,
Did
that's
you
how
just
I
say, like-
ended the stream.
Wait, I'm like, oh wow, so much for PG.
I mean